For those that saw the leaks this past summer from Daredevil Born Again sizzle reel, realized that there was very little action footage and people were getting worried. Well, Charlie Cox, during a recent round of interviews, talked specifically about why this is. And he said when they looked at the completed footage, it was too violent to feature on a Disney platform that was being watched by tons of kids in the audience. In a recent interview talking about the history of Daredevil and, of course, how brutal and visceral it was compared to most things Marvel Studios, Charlie Cox was asked about what's going on with Daredevil Born Again in terms of tone. And this comes at us from EW. And he said that during the production process, when they finally started to look at the footage and start to cut a sizzle reel for the upcoming series, that very early on they realized that there's a lot of scenes in this that are a little too violent that were already completed to actually include in the sizzle reel. And that the reason, if you saw the leaked sizzle reel from D23 and San Diego Comic-Con, for example, the reason that it's so light on the hand-to-hand and brutality is more or less because a lot of that footage would have put them into a adult category where there's too much violence, and it would have had to have been behind a age restriction, verification, and that they didn't want that. And he's hinting at the fact that there's definitely going to be a lot of people that love the brutality of Daredevil on Netflix that are going to be blown away by what Disney has done, stating that this series pushed Disney to its limits of what they allow on Disney+. Now, to me, this all sounds like, music to my ears, right? But I get what he's saying here. You gotta make a trailer that's for everybody. You can't release a Red Band sizzle reel or something like that. It was still a D23 presentation with a lot of young kids in there because it's D23, it's a Disney Expo. So they had to be careful. And him talking about how they're looking at what they had and realizing, yeah, maybe we're really pushing the limits, and Disney going, well, yeah, it's Daredevil, makes me a lot less worried about some of the reports we heard from, quite honestly, not reputable sources that this is going to be a lot more lighthearted and all that. Never believed that for a second because that's not Daredevil. Again, it is at specific times, depending on who's doing the run of the comics, but the story that they seem to be telling with Muse, there's no way you're going to kidify that, So I get it. I get exactly what he's saying in regards to why they couldn't cut the sizzle reel the way they wanted.